everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Real Get to the Chopper. I'm your host, Andy Godoy, and I'm back again with another one of these film commentaries. Now, today I'm going to be doing a commentary on one of my favorite childhood animated films. It's an underrated animated classic or sci-fi film from the 80s. It is StarChaser, The Legend of Orin. Now, originally, this was a 3D film that came out in the cinema. I don't think it got like a release over here in the UK, but over in the States, it was a 3D release. And I'll tell you what, it is incredible. But I'll talk more about it as the podcast goes along. But for now, then, I just want to quickly sort of like give everyone a quick update. So I'm recording this on the 9th of January, the day after my birthday. Had a great birthday, got some lovely presents from like my family and stuff like that, so super happy. Just it's the start to the new year, knee update I should say. I now can walk on one crutch. I can even stand to a certain extent without a crutch. Just need to relearn to walk again because I'm still limping, even though apparently I can bend my leg a little bit, but I've got physiotherapy a couple times, sort of like a month. So hopefully that will help me correct it and I should be on the path to walking more normally. Will I be 100%? No, but you know what? As long as I can walk normally, stand normally, and I'll be fine, you know. And then I just have to start looking for a new career, doing a sort of job. I won't be able to do a job where I can stand loads or walk loads, but I should be able to find something else. You never know. But with that then, big shout out to Lucas Payne, Damien Sayers, and everyone else at the Get to the Chopper Facebook group. If you haven't joined us already, please do. And with that then, I'm going to press play on the StarChaser discs after the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, press play. I'm going to quickly crank up the volume. Oh, love it. Now, this is a Blu-ray disc that I got from an Amazon link that Luke sent me. Now, Luke hadn't really seen this film before, but I'd mentioned it on the podcast before, and he ended up buying it, and he ended up really enjoying it. And I haven't seen this since VHS days. I love it. So what this is then, it is a Star Wars, some people call it a clone, rip-off, but you know what, it's a sci-fi, everything since Star Wars, everyone copied Star Wars. But for me, it is its own thing. I love it. I love the story, I love the lore, I love the animation, I love the music, a Steve Hahn film. Now, I remember hearing about this film because of StarChaser, The Legend of Orin. And the only reason why I know about this film was because back in the day, you would get loads of trailers for other films that would be in your video shop, and, you know, little video shops like the one that I used to go to. And, this came up as a trailer. There was like another one, like a filmation, claymation one that came up in the trailer as well. But I remember sort of really being taken in by the sci-fi element of this, rented it out. It became a film favorite. Ended up getting a VHS. Don't know what happened to my VHS version, tape. Oh, here we go. The mines. So yeah, you've got these robots and these humans mining. I think it's I don't know if it's Earth, but some planet in the distant future or something, just like Star Wars. Now, the first thing that you guys will notice is how really good the animation is. And the reason being is because it was rotoscopes. And I believe rotoscoping is where they get access to perform moves, and then while they're performing moves, it gets traced over, which is why all the animation is fluid. Now, that does have many pros and many cons. As you can see, one of the pros is the animation is so fluid, it's almost lifelike. But the problem also is sometimes that the cons are you can only do as much as the actor could do back in real life. So there's no amazing sci-fi jumping in the air, flipping, unless the actor could actually do that. So they were limited by that. So I wonder if they really did that. Got a big guy to kick a little kid. Who knows? But as you can see, the animation is beautiful. The color is lovely. The music is phenomenal. And I always used to think this was really dark. You know, humanity just slaves in a mine. And look at this. They all have to worship this god. Saigon. Now, anyway, going back to my story then about getting it. I owned it on VHS. Don't know what happened to my VHS tape. Then, years later, my friend Ivan, he let me borrow his VHS tape. And I do still owe him for this. I was living with an ex-girlfriend at the time. And then we broke up on bad terms. And during the breakup, I ended up leaving. And I ended up leaving quite a lot of stuff behind. And probably a lot of the stuff got binned. And yeah, gone is his VHS. So I'll probably get him the Blu-ray at some point as a little thank you, present if he hasn't got it already. Now this is the first time I've seen it on Blu-ray. So again, I'm watching it on Blu-ray, so that's 1080p. And then I'm also watching it on my 4K projector, which upscales the image. Plus the fact that I'm watching it on my projector on a 120-inch screen. And yeah, it's got some fill grain. You know, it looks good. I really like the way it looks. I'm really impressed. This, to me, is quite spectacular. Now, the disc version I've got is a Spanish version of The Legend of Orin. I think it's multi-region, the disc. I'll include a link to the one that Luke gave me on the description. So you guys, if you haven't seen it, you can check it out. It is available on YouTube. There is someone uploading it on YouTube, but, I'll add the link as well so someone can, you can end up getting it. Again, I love this animation. I love the hilt, I remember. So yeah, that's obviously a stuff of legends. Yeah, it's like a very dark cartoon, It's really showcasing, like loss, suffering, everything these people have to go through. You're born, you mine, you die while mining. And this is meant to be a stuff of legends. So yeah, obviously it's like a sword. The comparisons is a magical sword, like a lightsaber, but not quite. It's different enough. It's got a bit of fantasy element, and people always compare this guy to sort of like to Obi-Wan. And I love the way the blade's gone. So I think he spends most of his time looking for the blade. Yeah, it's action-packed. It's got fighting. It's got, later on, lasers and so much more. Now, the interesting thing is that you get a lot of people online that they've left reviews and stuff that they just call it a poor Star Wars ripoff. And, you know, like, yeah, Star Wars is pretty much sci-fi perfection, and many try to imitate it. But I think this is... I'll review it from the get-go. I wouldn't say it's a 5 out of 5 film. I'd say it's like a 3.5 out of 5. You know, it's really good. The animation, the story, the characters, the adventure, the progression of everything. I feel it does everything really well, you know? If anything, I feel this is better than any of the sort of like more recent Star Wars films. But I just feel like, yeah, sci-fi in the 80s, if you can look past the Star Wars comparisons, then I think you take away the burden, the pressure of what this film is. Just enjoy it for what it is. You know, it's a story of, you know, like humanity or human-like creature escaping, discovering thing where they've been suppressed and sort of like been told to live, and discovering, like, you know, themselves and adventure more. Okay, so yeah, this Blu-ray then, it's got lots of film grain. It's got a lot of dirt and stuff in it as well. So you can see flakes of things popping up. And again, that's not a bad thing sometimes, you know. I feel like it gives it like its extra added like cinematic feel. So yeah, it's about 6ish in the morning. I'm in the man cave. I'm down here trying to record before the family get all set and ready to face the day. It snowed outside. And over here in the UK, when it snows, it's not that bad, but the media love to say, oh my gosh, everything is, you know, like it's over the top, and it is over the top. I love the music. I love the color. I love, you know, brilliant, you know, like animation, color usage, detail on a lot of things. Love the adventures. I love like the, you know, things that are happening. Now, it's a shame that this didn't get like its 3D upgrade on the Blu-ray disc, because it is one of those really sort of films that not many people do remember, or I don't think a lot of people would make a lot of money sort of like re-releasing it. But I'm saying to you guys, if you can, you know, help support the Blu-ray company that have actually re-released it. It's, like I said, multi-region. So for Blu-rays, that's kind of rare, but it works. And yeah, get this film back out there so people can talk about it. That's what I'm hopefully trying to do, you know. And I want to try and make people realize it's a good film, you know, see it in a positive light. So this is where we see things are looking different. Look, it's not all caves and mine. And to them, they must be thinking, what is this going on? This isn't what we were told existed. Saigon. Saigon's a good baddie. We'll find out more about him later on. Quite a lot of death in the thing about this film, yeah, obviously it's a film, so it's got to move on, but it does move on quite at a fast pace. You know, the grandfather died, they escaped from the mine, escaping from the mine, discovered this. Now it's got to discover what's actually up there, and she's dead. So the story does move at a fast rate. Up his hell, I remember that, and him digging. And he has to go through a lot just to get there. Yeah, it didn't look like he was carrying a lot of food or water, so it's got to, how many days can you go without? Just a few days, so this probably takes, over a few days. This is where it gets interesting. All these little weird creatures, they look like little slugs. They always freaked me out, especially when they start changing colour. I mean, he's dug quite a way up, hasn't he? You can imagine the stagnant air. Not even that, the lack of proper oxygen that they've been breathing, somewhat limited. But again, I feel like rotoscoping does add a lot to this era animation. It could have all been hand drawn, whatever. And again, yeah, it doesn't take away from the artistry. There's still lots of having to draw things. You still have to sort of like do all the detail and everything. You still have to animate every single frame of the rotoscope. The music, the backgrounds, the plants, what he's seeing must be so magical for Orin. And as a kid, you're seeing this with Orin. This was like a dead mantis. Oh yeah, remember these guys. That bit was always in the trailer. The trailer's quite interesting as well. There was always one of these robots that freaked me out. That's the one with the guts. So I'm assuming these are robots that use body parts for skin and just to make themselves look more real. I don't know. This is where I get it's interesting. Clean slice. The music's really good in this. The music's epic. And even the sound effects for when the robot's moving, all the little mechanical steps. I always did wonder, like, how it sort of like took so long just to cut that little rope, but it sliced through people so fast. Well, there it did it in one sort of good move. Oh, I forgot there was more of them. I do remember that guy swinging his arms around like that. It was sort of like stood out. And again, the beauty of rotoscoping. And this is where we meet Dag Dubrimi, I think his name is. Yeah, so Dag is like a freelance sort of like guy who steals to make money. So he's like Han Solo, basically. Even sounds a bit like him. Oh yeah, all these weird and wonderful creatures. Oh, off goes his eye. And again, this is one of the things why I love this film. You can do so much with animation on a lower budget and create a whole universe of wonder and sci-fi brilliance. And again, I think it works, brilliantly. I forgot he calls him water snake. I just remember how futuristic that used to look like with that glow, the telescope and the numbers. I mean, yeah, this isn't the cleanest of Blu-rays. I've got a feeling that this literally was no, it's not a big company that did this Blu-ray. I feel it's just someone at home who produced these and just did like a slight sort of like minimal upscale. But you know what? I'm glad they did. And who knows if they've got the rights to it. The rights to this has probably gone a long time ago. But if it can get out there to people, it's brilliant. But I would love to see an amazing upscale of this, like recolored, everything. What would it look like? There were rumors, guys, that there was meant to be a film of this. Someone had bought the rights to it. Again, just rumors online. And that someone was meant to be doing like a live action film. I don't know if it would have worked because, I mean, how could you capture all of this? I suppose with CGI, but again, depending on the budget of the film, who was to do it, it might not be done great. CGI can either look amazing if done right, or it can look absolutely atrocious. I used to love the ship. I used to love the way those booster things used to spare to turn and change the way the ship. I love the design of this ship. I always used to want a action figure of it. I love the music as well. I always used to wonder, like, through Orin's eyes, like, the wonder, the amazement of the world that he was seeing for the first time after his whole life. I mean, Orin must be about, 18 years old or something like that, and all he's seen is mines, and now he's seen all this so far. And the acting on this is pretty good. Love that. beautiful. I mean, those are some of my favorite parts of the film. Just watching the ship fly. Love how 80s it is. Although it's like a 2D animated film, the sense of a 3D world is really quite believable. The way the director, chooses his angles and showcases what's out there, like there. I mean, even those little robot ship things, they're all animated fantastically, where they're quite believably solid. Hopefully, after I've done this one, I should be doing Tron Ares. It all depends if it arrives. I still haven't received Universal Soldier. I'm having actual problems with that with my delivery from my seller on Amazon. Got it way before Christmas, early December for $9.99, and I feel like the seller underestimated how much he was going to actually sell, because it's just been delayed, and recently I've got a message saying it's like, oh, hello robots. Used to have the major crush on that robot. But yeah, my I got the message saying it's like, oh yeah, you can wish to cancel if you want, but I'm not going to cancel, because whenever I see the film, it goes around for about $15.99 to $19.99. So if I can get it for $9.99, I'm going to get it for $9.99. So unless he just says, look, I'll have to refund you, there's no other choice, then fair enough. But for now, I'll play the waiting game. I like the way he's using the robots as shields. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, I used to really quite fancy that robot. But when you think about it, look at it. It was like boobs and ass. Yeah, you gotta love Dag. Dag is just like a grumpy old guy. Love that ship. I don't think it's actually got a name. I think it's just like the spaceship, and Arthur is the the robot that controls it. Zygon. But again, guys, please request what films you'd like me to see. I'm more than happy just to carry on like doing films that I'd like to do. I mean, Luke's been recommending absolutely loads. I'd say like about 90% of the films that he's recommended I've done. So, guys, if you let me know what films you want doing, I will happily record them, just like I have been doing for Luke. So, yeah, it's great, I think me and Luke have got pretty much the same taste in films. He has a sort of like nominated one that I hadn't seen, which was Drive, and I ended up absolutely loving that. So I'm so glad he recommended that. And again, if I can't buy the 4K version, I'll just get the Blu-ray, and if not, I'll probably just end up using the streaming version. So please feel free to recommend some films for me to do commentary on. And if you're listening to this, guys, Please feel free to comment on the episode, or please feel free to sort of like leave me some feedback as well, because that really helps motivate me as well. And if you haven't already, please join our Facebook group, which is Get to the Chopper. Now, what you'll find about Get to the Chopper, it's not the biggest group out there. It's been going for a few years. We talk about films, cartoons, toys from the 80s, the 90s, the noughties, the now. And it's good. That bit always used to make me tear up. Posterior. I knew that. See, the memories come flooding back. I've not seen this in over 20-something years. Yeah, he's got a guy delving in there. And I remember when he does change it, she goes, hi. I remember that was in the trailer. That guy there who's with Saigon, you know who he reminds me of? The guy who was a sidekick to Jeff Bridges' evil character in Tron. To Clue's side, little helper, who he kills at the club, the nightclub scene, I think. Again, bar scene. Oh, here comes my cat. It's like clockwork. Whenever I'm recording, she decides to show up. No, you're not going to go over there. She's trying to press things on my mixer, or my podcast mixer. I mean, it is kind of hard not to sort of like compare it to Star Wars. I mean, look, there's just lots of paint splatter for the lights. But you know what? You got to appreciate the artistry in the, in the paintings. I love it. I love looking at just the artwork. It's just lots of white lines, splatter of white paint, just to give the illusion. The art style in this is phenomenal. I really enjoy it. Love that bit of the ship. Look at the robot. Look at the backdrops. Beautiful. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, somewhere down the line, guys, maybe in the next couple of weeks, I will do Transformers, the animated movie. I love the music. I love the world. Love the alien designs. I love it. It is just, I don't know why this doesn't get more praise. It is just incredible. I love it. And I feel with this era of animation, you could be a bit more risque, do a little bit more. Guys, I'll also be doing maybe some anime, actually, stuff, starting off with stuff like Akira, which I've got to be honest, guys, I've seen, but I don't remember seeing it. I must have been really young, like about 9, and it was just something, a style of animation I wasn't used to. I've got the Blu-ray of that, so I'll definitely give that a watch somewhere down the line. Ooh. So this is the thing, is it's an animated film, but it's got some sort of like content for adults, you know, things that you wouldn't really understand as a kid. You know, I didn't understand that back in the day, but I know what he means now. Mhm. Mhm. I always imagined that she had like a little thing underneath the table that she was putting out, like a pedal, which was making that spin. Starbacks. Love the robot designs. Really interesting designs on all the characters. It's like this guy's not quite human, is he? He's like the size of his head and the shape of his head. But saying that, so some of the human characters, they're over exaggerated, stylized. Are those Starbacks? Yeah, so it doesn't look like gold. But yeah, I'd love to do more sort of like classic animation stuff. But then again, I would like to do some of maybe some anime stuff as well. And I want to mix it up a little bit. Again, I'm very limited to what I can do, like one film a week and one animated short thing that I can do. Like I've been doing the Real Ghostbusters Ulysses, still doing this as recording this. I'm only 2 episodes in. I actually got shot in the butt. I remember that. I like this bit. Love that. Again, rotoscoping looked amazing. The running animation. Now, this disc has got some extras. I don't know what the extras are. I love this bit here as well. The way his head just gets taken out there. I don't know if they've got any behind the scenes sort of thing. I doubt it, but I'll have a look at some of the extras. Some of the extras might just be subtitles, extra languages, because the disc is originally in Spanish, this disc, the Blu-ray, and you have to go into the audio options to add English into this. Yeah, so some of the next films coming along will be, I was planning on doing Universal Soldier, but I still haven't received that. I definitely will be doing Dread 3D, because Luke gave me the 3D glasses. And then, he recommended that I do Dread 3D because it's one of the better ones. Eventually, I will be doing Coraline, Mad Max, and so on. Any excuse to watch that film again. I've not seen it in 3D. I've seen it in... believe it or not, I saw it on DVD because I had it on... watched up my PS2 and then on my Sony Trinitron. It looked beautiful. So many memories coming into sort of my mind watching all these, watching this. I mean, I think the last time I must have watched it, I must have been in my late teens. So I've always been somewhat the same. I'd always sort of make time to watch some of my childhood favorites, I was probably like about 18, 19 when I watched this for the last time. I loved that. Love his attitude. Love his humor. I do like Dag. His attitude is what gets him through this. Sand in the wind. Again, that ship design is beautiful. Oh yeah, remember these little firefly things? Damn. Love that bit. Love the way the ship does that. Look at the excited explosion coming up. Boom. No escaping from that. No escape. Jesus Christ. I love the interaction that they have with the robot and, Dag. Beautiful explosion. Again, really good design on all the little ships and everything, and the movement, the computer style thing that they've got. They've really thought this through. Love this bit. That bit was in the trailer as well. I think back then, like the trailers that you'd get on VHS tapes, I would watch them again and again if it was something that interested me. And that's how I found out about films that I wanted to rent out. Damn. And that goes to show the size and scale of the ship compared to the trees and everything. It's quite a big ship. And it's got to be with the amount of, stuff that they carry and like... I don't know how he got flung out there and he still survived it. Now she's the same sort of like likeness as Orin's girlfriend. I think so much so later on you see him imagining her, and it is you'll see what I mean. I think it comes up when he wakes up. Oh, I'm having a yawn. Nothing against this film, but just early, and I had to get up and to record. If anything, I'm doing really well with my recording, guys. I'm sort of like about 4 or 5 weeks ahead of where I should be. Or podcast recordings, I should say, not weeks. I got them all uploaded and ready to go. And that's the great thing about doing these film commentaries. A reason why I enjoy doing them. I could have gone back to just doing what I used to do, but I feel like, you know what? I've been there, done that. See what I mean? This is the bit. Just different hair color and eye color. Orin certainly gets over his girlfriend pretty fast. They had a moment. Yeah, I forget he gets tortured. That's one of the things I wanted to mention as well. Like Saigon's red logo that he's got in his chest, a lot of the robots have that as well. It's an interesting logo, really stands out, makes them seem like they're all uniforms. I don't think we actually meet her father, but see what I mean with the logos? Love the way that laser comes out of his eye. But yeah, going back to the podcast and why I'm enjoying doing these, it just gives me the freedom to talk about stuff that I'm passionate, that I normally don't get to talk about on a normal day basis, apart from friends when I do get together. But, you know, like work life and family life normally stops me from going out as much as I'd like to because I've got a bit on. And it's really good to do podcasts. And I feel like retro gaming, I've been there, done that. Now I get to talk about films, TV shows, which is my other passion. This is where we find out he's a robot. Bye-bye, Measle. I used to love this speech. I love that bit as well. I like this bit. I think he says, "Why am I naked?" Forgot about that line. What a snake. Oh, just getting messages on my phone. My wife's telling me that I need to get the car out of the snow because I've got to take my daughter to school in about 30, 40 minutes. Hopefully I've got enough time to finish recording this. That should be fine. But yeah, I love doing this sort of podcast. You know, I'm not getting as many listeners as I used to for like my retro gaming thing, but I do feel podcasting in a way has been oversaturated in a way where not just sort of like regular podcasters like myself and some of my friends who are still recording these retro gaming podcasts, but then now you've got celebrities and sort of Z-list celebrities all doing podcasts out there, and it sort of buries what we're doing out there. So not just for me, guys, but for, you know, all the other podcasts that listen that are independent, please take the time that you can to leave them a review, subscribe, listen, interact as much as you can, because it really helps not just me, but them as well, you know. Because I'm sure, like myself, you know, none of us get paid to do this. We do this because it's something we enjoy. And I feel that is the spirit of what podcasting was all about. We did this, or we do this because we enjoy it. Yeah, would we like to get paid? Yeah. But you know what? We also do it because, like, it's just something we passionate about, really. I mean, I honestly wish I could do this a lot more than I can. But I feel like I've only got 1 or 2 days to record something. Oh, I love the speech. I used to love that speech. Sorry, guys. The price to pay, getting up early in the morning to record. Honestly, guys, recording, watching things like this really makes my day, really sets me up because, you know, I'm in my head quite a lot of the time as a geeky guy. And I need to watch films. I need to be... For me, films are special. Films are like, need to be watching a big screen. And I feel like, honestly, guys, my midlife crisis was buying myself a 4K projector and having a man cave. It's something I've always wanted, and now I've got it. It really makes my life a lot better, really. Like this bit. I think it shoots itself. But yeah, there's so many films that I need to be doing at some point. Obviously, loads of films that I've seen so many times, like Close Encounter of the Third Kind. There's films that I need to do that I haven't seen, which I probably will get the 4K version. Lawrence of Arabia is meant to be one of the most beautifulest 4Ks out there. Suspiria is another one. The original Suspiria. I know there was a remake. Oh, I need to watch that as well. So it's got Mia Goth in it, and you know she's like a very attractive woman, but she's also done some good films that I need to watch, stuff like X, Pearl, and Maxine, and you know I might even do some of the Carry On films as well. Not all of them, but some of my favorite ones as well. There's so much I need to watch or watch for the first time, or just see them now, because I don't know how many more times I'm gonna have the opportunity to watch these favorites of mine. You know, I'm 49 now. I'm not saying I'm going to drop dead at some point, but you know what? I want to watch them and leave my view out there for like my kids to listen to my friends to listen to, and just to leave something out there on the interwebs. Hey, it's his catchphrase. Damn. Don't know why he just didn't shoot him. Maybe it was not too alert. Whenever I see someone hiding under a tank, it'll always remind me of playing Metal Gear Solid and being able to hide under things like that. Again, I am going to have to play certain games again for one last time, just because why not, you know? But again, being an adult and being a family man, working and stuff like that, you're limited for the amount of time you can actually spend. You know, I could spend all my spare time recording, but the thing is, like, you know, I've got to prioritize family life. Look at all that. Look at all those ships. Incredible. That was really beautifully done. I do want to rewatch all the Star Trek, like Next Gen, DS9 and stuff like that. I might just do that as a separate podcast as well. Not as a separate podcast, but add that to another day. I just need to try and find the time. So I've got like an animation thing or TV show that I want to do like on a Wednesday. But Star Trek's, I think it's like about 40, 50 minutes long. So it's slightly longer that I can allow for. I'll try and see if I can schedule it in. And then I can do other shows eventually, like Quantum Leap or Buffy. Stuff like, again, that I absolutely love that I need to talk about. But then again, I do want to do shorter TV shows, well, or animations. I did want to do Trapdoor. I even mentioned in an earlier podcast I want to do Trapdoor, and I've been looking for my DVD, and that has mysteriously vanished from my DVD shelf, which is really annoying. I don't know how on earth it vanished. I don't know whether like it's just been lost in the amount of times I've moved, or whether I've accidentally got rid of it somehow. But regardless, you know, I'll find a way of doing it again. Oh, I love this bit. That's similar to what happened in Star Wars. Love the way the heat is just burning through. Whoa. There's another animation that I'd love to do called Animal Olympics. I think that featured a lot of 80s American comedians and stuff like that. I need to look into the history a little bit, and I'll talk more about that when I do see it. But it's one that I used to watch loads as a kid, and I feel like, you know what, I need to watch that once again. Surprised those robots didn't realize what was going on with all the commotion that was happening. I think we must be nearing the end of this. Well, no, it's 7:34. Like, I've still got time. I don't have to take my daughter to school till like about a little bit later. Another hour I've got. But I do need to get the car out of the snow because it's been snowing, and I need to make sure that I can actually get her to school. So if not, she has to walk, and I have to walk with her. Love that ship. That ship is just an amazing design. Love that scene as well, where the big rock takes out the ship. Kind of reminds me of a scene from Independence Day where Will Smith's character is going through the desert and through the cliffs, and he shoots like a big rock thing like that takes out an alien ship. I would love to do Independence Day. Now, I will do it somewhere down the line. The only thing is, though, I don't know if you guys are with me on this, but I can't stand Will Smith now after what he done. You know, the whole slap incident. It's really made me see that he's not really a great guy for doing that so publicly. And, you know, to do it on that stage, really, it would be different if he had like a outburst behind the scenes and they got into a confrontation, not so public. But yeah, I can't stand him now. But, you know, as film goes, I will watch Independence Day. I don't know what else. I don't think I would ever do Bad Boys. As much as I like those films, he just annoys me. But Jeff Goldblum's in Independence Day, and I absolutely love Jeff Goldblum. We'll do Jurassic Park somewhere down the line. I'll probably do the 3D version because, again, I've seen a lot of films, but I've not seen the 3D films. And big shout out to Luke Hayes Payne, who is one of our wonderful listeners, who sent me some 3D glasses from my projector. So I get to see those films for 3D in the first time. Don't know how they managed to destroy all the ships. Suppose she does look like a bit like Princess Leia in a way. Yeah, speaking about Star Wars, I will do the Star Wars films. Now, obviously, the Blu-rays, sorry, the 4Ks, like the Blu-rays and sort of like even the DVDs have all been changed up. And obviously with George Lucas reworking them, so they will be like that. I'll still do them. There is a thing called the 90-something project where a fan out there has basically redone them in 4K, but the way they originally were. I don't know if I can get access or whether it's actually even legal. I don't even know what region they would be. So if I could, I would do them that way. The way they were originally meant to be seen, because I feel like George Lucas did mess up a lot, you know, CGIing certain scenes, removing certain scenes, adding other scenes, and it didn't work. But yeah, I'd like to do Star Wars. But look at that. That was intentionally animated to be there to provoke something. The size of the space facility is huge. Damn. It is quite spectacular. It's the best way to describe this. The animation, just everything with the spaceships flying around, the scale of it seems really epic. I'm glad, you know, I'm watching this on 4K, well, not 4K, on Blu-ray on my 4K projector on the big screen. It does make it feel a lot more cinematic. And again, I don't know when I'm going to watch this again, but I'm glad I've got to speak about this while watching the film. It's like sort of doing two things in one time, really. But this must have been spectacular in 3D. Love that sound effect. He just runs off. See you later. Wouldn't want to be ya. Ha ha. Whoa, just realizing now that I need to get this film wrapped up. The pressures of everyday life, all trying to record podcasts. The film's nearly over. I've probably got another 10 minutes to go. Just the pressures of the wife and the family. We're nearing the end now. But yeah, like you said, like not every film will be done in 4K. I'm happy to do DVD. I'm happy to do Blu-ray. If I can get them on 4K and I want to get them on 4K, I will. Certain films, like I said, I probably won't get. I'll just get on Blu-ray. And if certain films aren't available on 4K Blu-ray, I'll just get them on DVD. I'm glad this was on Blu-ray though. Leg is broken. Look at this tough guy. Here we go, back to the mines, the grand finale. Whenever I do think of the mines, though, it always reminds me of this bit as well from Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. Need to get that on 4K. I've got the Blu-ray, but I think a film like that needs to be watched on 4K just for the extra detail and everything, and the HDR. Same thing as Back to the Future. I've got that on Blu-ray, but I need to watch that on 4K. So somewhere down the line, I will get them. And this is where he just gets to be revealed, just to be, what, appears to be like a human. Oh, silly. He's probably thinking, well, I can get another. Seeing her get lifted up there and getting killed off makes me think, you know what, thinking about another strong, tough dude that can do this. Reminds me of Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. Now, I'd like to do those series of films somewhere down the line. I've got some of the films on Blu-ray. I don't know if I would fork out the money for the 4K version of those films because I feel like they weren't really meant to be seen in such clear format. And I think Blu-ray is possibly the best format for them, really. Although some people say that the color grading in the 4K is better, makes the night scenes look better. I like the way they tell him now that there was never a blade. He didn't have to go on that whole adventure then in that case, but I suppose he wouldn't have done everything that he had done otherwise. Love that bit. Yeah, look, they discovered Saigon's a machine. Here we go, coming towards the end. He slices and dices him. The end of Saigon. And this bit here always reminded me of the film Masters of the Universe. Now, I've got the Blu-ray version. It is Masters of the Universe is available in 4K. I don't know whether I'll get the 4K film. I don't know if it'll be worth the upgrade, really. And look, freedom has started. Humanity has risen. And I think we're coming to the end of this film now. Now, I really hope you guys have all enjoyed watching this as much as I have. It's so underrated. If you're watching this for the first time, please let me know what you thought of it. If you've seen this or remember this as a kid, let me know your feelings of like what it's like watching it as an adult, you know. I like this bit. She blows up all the thing. He loves saying damn. But I suppose it goes to show that not all robots have to be mean or horrible. They can be programmed to work with humans as well, which was another thing, you know. We see Silica just like almost as an equal. I love this, you know, everything starts falling apart, but all the people in this cave start seeing the world destroyed, what they used to know, and discover something else is going to be out there, something they haven't seen before, which is a new beginning, untapped potential. Here we go. Uses the hill for the last time. Don't know whether it's going to be discovered by someone else somewhere down the line. Leaves it open, I guess. I don't know how that creates a path for them to reach up there, but it does somehow. That looks like he goes straight up, but this next scene, they're all just walking up like it was like a ramp. And look at them all experiencing the skies, the night stars, the trees, the ships. That look they gave each other, it's like, we're going to try and work this out somehow. You know Dag's done stuff to robots. Oh yeah, I remember this bit. Totally forgot about the blind little brother and what Orin can do. He's got some magic. I always like the fact that there's magic sometimes in sci-fi films. It just means like, you know, like makes it even more wondrous. Love that little focus into what you can see. And there we go. Look, humanity is free to, but again, this is a scary thing. It's like, yeah, they're free, but they're in a world that they're not used to. So will they be still used as slaves with some of the regular humans, or with the other robots that are cannibal type things? What's going to happen? We don't know. And then we discover that these little things here are like the Jedis, the past Kakans, or whatever they were called, past heroes, and now they're there to guide and help. Not yet. And a few more things, I bet you. And that Gandalf looking guy's like, yep, I get it. And again, films like this really don't get made nowadays. I think there is like another I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, guys, I have been Andy Godoy. I've really enjoyed watching this StarChaser, The Legend of Orin. Fantastic, brilliant, brings back my childhood. I'm so glad I've watched this again. And with that, I shall see you next time. Goodbye from me.